I'm excited about this part. This is geometric proof 3, and this is where we actually take those things that we've been talking about and we put them into action. We are writing our own proof. And so a good place to start is always with the given. And so I'm going to start with the given. So my first statement is going to be angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles. Okay, and my reason for that is going to be given. Okay, and here's where the puzzle gets interesting. Our plan says use the definition of right angle to write the measure of each angle. It should be angle, right? The measure of each angle. Then use the transitive property and the definition of congruent angles. Okay, so let's look. My plan is going to look something like this. I know that they're both right angles, so the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2 are both going to be equal to 90. Okay? So that's going to be definition of right angles. I know that I want the last line of my proof to be angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Well, then what I can say is the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 because the transitive property says that they're both equal to the same thing. Then they must be equal to each other. Okay, so they are both equal to 90, so measure of angle 1 must be equal to measure of angle 2. So then 4 is a short step. This is what I want. Angle 1 congruent to angle 2. Because the definition of congruent says that if the measures are equal, then they are equal to each other. Okay, so that's how this works. We're going to use these plans to formulate our proofs. Okay, here's the second one. Angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. Angle 2 and angle 3 are complementary. So we're going to prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Okay, our plan is the measures of complementary angles add up to 90 by definition. Use substitution to show that the sums of both pairs are equal. Use the subtraction property and the definition of congruent angles to conclude that 1 is congruent to 3. I have a copy of the plan over here. These are my statements. These are my reasons. I'm going to start with my given. So in number 1, angle 1 and angle 2, as well as angle 2 and angle 3 are complementary. That's going to be given. Here's what I'm going to say next. I'm going to use what that means. And what that means is that they're both equal to 90. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90. And the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to 90. And that's the definition of complementary. Okay, now it's time to reevaluate. Where am I going? I want this at the end. I want 1 and 3 to be together. So I need to somehow combine these two things. Well, in number 3, I need to get angle 1 and angle 3 in the same sentence, but on different sides. So what I'm going to say is this. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. That is by substitution or the transitive property of equality. Because both are equal to the same thing. Notice, both equal to 90. So I'll get rid of the 90 and set them equal to each other. Now, line number 4. I need, once again, to have 1 and 3 be alone. Well, luckily, I have angle 2 on both sides. So what I'm going to be able to say in this line is the measure of angle 1 measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 3. Because I can use the subtraction property of equality to subtract the same thing from both sides. Now that I have that, I'm going to wrap it up and say angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And that's the definition of congruence. It's logical steps. A lot of times we're going to set things equal to one another. A lot of times we're going to substitute. A lot of times we're going to do those kinds of things, okay? And so when I'm doing these, yes, there's a process. Yes, it can be confusing, but we need to step incrementally and use our plans, okay? In general, here's the proof process. We're going to write the conjecture to be proven, draw diagrams to represent the hypothesis of the conjecture. State the given information, mark it on the diagram. State the conclusion in terms of the diagram, plan your argument, prove the conjecture. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. That was geometric proof number 3.